Welcome to another edition of the Dallas After Show here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr. I just want to tell you so much. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the show. You made the show a nice hit for us here. Last year, we did some great numbers and the engagement. Thank you for responding, giving me your feedback, sharing information with me that I didn't know, things I didn't know, especially those Dallas fans around the world. You tell me stuff that happens in France and England and give me some insight of how they did things in Italy. I love hearing all of yours. I love engaging with you. I love talking with you. So please continue to do that. On the bottom of the videos, comment. Let me know what you think. And also the Dallas Facebook groups. There's some great Dallas Facebook groups. If you are new to the show and you're not a part of these Dallas Facebook groups, go join them. They're talking about Dallas. All kinds of opinions, all kinds of Dallas love. Check them out. I love you guys for letting me post these things in here. It's just my musings and opinions of stuff that of a show that we all love. It's my favorite show. It's my favorite show. So I love it. And right now we need some happy stuff. I'm going back to a happier time. There's a lot of crap going on right now, a lot of COVID stuff and everything is going on. This is like something that I think crosses color, gender, orientation, religion, but it's just the show was a good show for most of the time. It was a good show. So this time we'll do something a little different. This isn't a recap or a reaction. This is a what if situation. So I want you guys to come because a lot of you, some of you out there do fan fiction. Some of you out there speculate different scenarios. The show had so many storylines over the course of its original 13-year run and 3-year run on TNT. So you can actually think of all these things that can possibly happen. And on some of my recaps, I've talked about what if they did this. This is why I decided to do an episode of literally what if. 2 different scenarios that I think that would change the makeup of Dallas if these 2 things happened. We'll start first with if Gary came back home. Because so Dallas along the way decided to add some more Ewings. We got the Ewing cousins, Jack and Jamie. Love them. I'm glad they came. I like the character of Jack. Jamie, she was whatever, but I like the character of Jack a lot. And I liked the dream season when Jack and JR actually were getting along. Sad it went back to the way after the dream season ended, that didn't work. So I'm wondering, what if Knots Landing failed? The spinoff. What if Knots Landing did a couple of seasons and it just didn't work? And they said, it's okay. So they decided to bring Gary and Val back, or Gary by himself. Either one. Those are 2 what ifs. You can either one back. I was saying right there, possibly Lucy would have bigger storylines and more storylines because her parents or father would be there. And then I always say this. I mean, they teased it in TNT. It didn't really happen. But back when he was drinking and when Sue Ellen was drinking, that'd be very soapy if drunk Gary and drunk Sue Ellen bonded in their drunkenness. And then eventually maybe got help. Because I like when Sue Ellen wasn't drunk. So eventually got help together and maybe fell in love to JR's chagrin, right? His weak-minded brother. He's always calling him, he always thought he was weak and everything. That would tear up that family. But it happens on soaps, brothers marry sister-in-laws, and that was them all the time. But also Gary didn't feel like the strongest in the family with them. That's one reason why he left. So I think, would he want to be part of Ewing Oil? Probably not. I would think he wouldn't want to be. I mean, he just would voting share and that's it. He wouldn't be part of it. So what would Gary do? Would he go into energy? Like, would he go into the horse business? Would him and Ray get along and become really close? I always wondered, so what do you think if Gary had to come back, what would happen? And I think JR would always be brushed. He's the middle child. More dynamics between the 3 brothers, because really consider more dynamics between them. Be very, very interesting. Miss Ellie and him are very close. That was one of her favorites. So that would be, I think it would totally, adding another brother, then would you need Jack and Jamie? Or would you just need Jamie and not Jack? I say bring them all on. I'm a fan of big family, bring them all on. So I just wonder if you add just one more brother in the mix, you have the 4 brothers, that would be interesting together, right? Because Ray wasn't involved in Ewing Oil, not really, so he wasn't part of it. So Gary has a way to move around. He could have been part of the whole South Fork thing with Ray, and they handled the ranch section, while the 2 brothers handled that. JR could be manipulating Gary or whatever. I mean, the possibilities I think are endless on that one, for sure. Another one is, what if Jock didn't die? Now, we know that Jim Davis died in real life. That facilitated the death of Jock Ewing. So unfortunately, they chose, they chose not to recast the whole West Parmalee story later. I already talked about that on a previous episode. You can go back to the previous episode. I think it's titled West Parmalee or something. It's not Jock Ewing, whatever. Here on JLJ Media, you can listen to that one or watch that one. I tell you my whole theory about that, my feelings on that one. But since they didn't do that, what if Jim Davis had died? Or what if they recasted it right away? Actually recast it and said, here's a new Jock Ewing. What would that? There'd be no Clayton Farlow, right? Would there be any need for him? Because they brought him on. I mean, there's Dusty, of course. Clayton could be a father of Dusty, but could there? Well, I guess it could be a love triangle between Dusty, Maselli, and Clayton. Or Dusty, wrong people. Jock, Maselli, and Clayton. Maybe Maselli feels after she had the breast cancer and stuff that she'll feel appreciated by Jock, and Clayton's there for her as a friend at first. I mean, a mature storyline, possibly. It's soapy, but this was the 80s. Or we don't Clayton at all. We didn't even have them at all. They stay married and runs housework. But to me, that's one part of Jock if he stayed alive. The other part is how that affect Ewing Oil and being run. How that affect JR and Bobby, but mostly JR. Because JR, when Jock was gone, Bobby was always trying to rein him in, or Maselli, or somebody trying to rein him in. He had free reign. He did a few things sometimes while Jock was alive, like when he had Southport mortgaged for this deal, and Jock found out through Bobby, and he was upset. But if Jock was there with the heavy hand, because Jock had a heavy hand, he was a good old boy, heavy hand, and JR couldn't put over on him. So I wonder what that would do to the dynamic. He's with Ewing Oil. Would JR be secretly scheming against his father to take over? At some point, I go down the line, the Soku's going, he's like, makes it seem like his father's incompetent. Or just would it be a constant battle number two? Try to get daddy's approval. Would it be Bobby and JR always still fighting? I think the relationship could still be adversarial or frenemy, so to speak. They're not really enemies, they're brothers, but they always fought a lot. That could still happen with Jock still being at the head. But I just wonder what that would affect it. That would affect so many storylines, right? So many storylines. I almost wish, if I did fan fiction, I would do a bunch of what ifs. I already have one. I have one. Here's another one. It's a little side what if that I did start to write at one point for fun, but I'm not. Maybe I'll release it one day. I call it an uncle and niece have a conversation. I always thought, because in the first season, Ray and Lucy were messing around. Later, it's revealed that he's her half uncle. It's never really discussed, never really brought up, wisely, of course. You might better forget about it. But I thought, what if they had a conversation years later, just years later about it? It wasn't that weird. You're my uncle. I had no idea, blah, blah. I always envision just a conversation over lunch or something, or the South at the horses. It's kind of just went to the fans like, yeah, we know. Yes, we know. Yes, we know. Because the fans know it. You all know it, right? We all know it. No one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. So yeah, so there's that. So I'm just thinking it's a very interesting situation. I think it'd be kind of fun. Some other what ifs. What if Catherine actually did get Bobby? What if Catherine did get Bobby? What if Jenna Wade never came back? There's a whole bunch of things. What if Charlie was actually Bobby? I mean, there's all kind of things. Even little ones and small ones. But I think it's what fan fiction is about. There's a lot of fan fiction out there. I've read a few things where they really go into and see at the end of the TNT series, they put out there that JR had a daughter. Now, I thought that would be very interesting. If JR had a daughter, because he was a man and he was kind of a womanizer and he had sons, would that soften him to see, would he see his reflection of all of his life in this woman? Or would she be just like JR, like a Samantha type on Sex and the City or something, like just we just do man, whatever. I'm not a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of that whole storyline. Just thinking he has a daughter out there. I don't know about that. I don't know how you. So let me know how you feel about that. I'm not sure about it myself, but I thought, well, if they did it, and if Larry Hagman was still alive, that would have been a really great thing to explore. And he passed, so that's not so. Like any JR storylines now will be posthumous. It would be the kids and grandkids amongst themselves fighting for the legacy at that point. That's what it would be. So, what if the dream season? What if the dream season stayed? There's another one too. What if it stayed and just Bobby came back another way? They mentioned twins. That Mark Grayson was Bobby with his mask. They mentioned all kind of stuff like that. So you never know. But what if they just did that? And Ray and Jenna had that deaf son, and they kept him, and he grew up, and who knows? Interesting. So anyway, just a little fun. I'll do a little fun episode with you guys. Just like speculating, and I'm a writer, so I like writing and thinking of other ideas. And this show is so ripe with storyline. That's the great thing about it. It has so many ways it could have went. And I know all of you out there have your own ideas, so please share them. If you're here on YouTube, JLJ Media, right below. If you're listening to me on your favorite audio streaming service, which could be iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple, comment there too. And plus, rate my show. If you rate my show, at least 4 or 5 stars, it helps to bring it up to more attention. I don't think all the Dallas fans around the world who are making this chart and are listening to it, thank you so much. I wish I could say gracias in Spanish, obrigado in Portuguese, merci in French, danke in Dutch. I wish I could say other languages, but thank you so much. Grazie, I guess, in Italian. Thank you. I really appreciate it. The Facebook groups, I love you guys. See you next time with a new episode of Dallas After Show here on JLJ Media.